quality time. And I don't get to see Tully as often as I would like. You know, we all go our separate ways, and that's a fact in the business. But this is an opportunity where he and I are going to be there for the same weekend to share old stories, and the fans can feel that and be a part of it. You know, ask questions, take pictures, you know, get old mementos that they've kept all these years, and have a chance now to get them signed. And I've said before at functions like this, I get as much out of it myself as, you know, people come up to me and say, thank you so much for being here. And I've heard Tully say, hey, thank you for being here, for taking time from your weekend and making plans and being here to share it with us. It's a two-way street. But I know that the promoter in Charlotte, Greg Price, has done a great job in the past, and I know this will be no different. And looking at the lineup, you know, it's like the who's who that are going to be there. And I'm really looking forward to it.
Tully, what are your thoughts about
as well I am.
What are your thoughts? Yeah, I was just going to say, Tully, any particular things that you're looking forward to during the course of the weekend, or is it just a matter of, you know, catching up with some of your former friends, colleagues, former adversaries, and placing the names with the faces once again?
Well, it is. I'm only going to be there on Sunday. I've got a prison event that I've got to go to with the ministry that I'm involved with in Nashville on Friday and Saturday, and I'm going to fly in Saturday night. So I'm going to do everything that I'm going to do. Greg's asked me to do, I think with you, JJ, a question and answer on Sunday afternoon, and autograph things Sunday, and then some pictures in the morning or something like that. And he's asked me if would I consider wrestling on Sunday night. So I don't know about that. I got to talk to my manager JJ, see if he's willing to figure that in on Sunday night.
Hey, I've made a few shots with Tully, and you know, he talks about going up to the WWE and looking at things and trying to assess and feeling that it's not there anymore. Well, I would like to respectfully disagree, because the few times that I've been with Tully in an arena, it was like going back in time and opening up a time capsule. And I know how he trains for events such as this, and the same energy is there. And I think what Tully was saying, and I've been asked too, you know, if I missed the business and would I come back, we were each successful individually and collectively as part of the Horseman, because it was something that was a 24/7. When we made trips and we were in a bar having a good time, we still were talking wrestling. We were still talking about, you know, what we did that night and how it could have been better and what we were going to do the next day, and maybe something happened that triggered an idea going forward. And you had to have that commitment. And I think what Tully was saying, that it takes a lot of energy to have that commitment, and you either do it right or you don't do it at all. And I think that's what Tully was saying, and that's how I feel too. I don't have the energy, and I don't have the focus on the current product to just step back in and to do it just to have somebody give you a paycheck. You know, we're too proud individually and collectively of our legacy and what we accomplished just to go back and be involved in something if we don't have that energy and that willingness to make that commitment.
Once again, the DVD Ric Flair and the Four Horsemen. Yes, a World Wrestling Entertainment production. I guess that they own the whole kit and caboodle, Blade. So at least I got to say, guys, you know what? I know that the WWE gets you know, run through the ringer, and they get torn a new proverbial posterior, shall we say, a lot of the times. But one of the really awesome things that I can't appreciate, not only, you know, covering the business, doing our program for the 5+ years that we've been doing it, but being fans of the business as well, is that all the old school footage we're finally having a chance to see, whether it be WWE 24/7, whether it be the DVDs that's coming out. Again, you fans, if you pick up the 2-disc DVD set, you can see Tully versus Dusty Rhodes in the First Blood match back at Starrcade 1986. Again, Blade, you and I were, what, 5, 6 years old? We were pretty much fresh out of the toddler stage right now, and here we are, grown adults, 25, 26 years old. We don't want to reveal our real ages on the air, so we're going to say what we really are, 25 and 26. You have the opportunity to watch some of this wrestling goodness, and you know what? Yes, there's Raw. Yes, there's SmackDown. There's the 5 or 10 minute matches. But you know what? It doesn't get better than the old school days when you saw JJ when you saw Tully and you had the 25, you saw the 30-minute match, it's something that you really don't have the chance to see now. Blade, I know that you had the chance to catch the DVD. Give Tully and JJ your thoughts on it.
I enjoyed it. Like I said, we bash the E, rightfully so, on a weekly basis. We make fun of, a lot of the things that we see because, it's not what we remember and it's not what, what we want. But, obviously we understand, it's not 1986 anymore. It is 2007. So it is what it is. But it's great, to see this stuff because not everyone had the opportunity to enjoy these matches back in the day like we did.
Tully, let me ask you this, Tully. The final product of the Four Horsemen DVD, I know that World Wrestling Entertainment, a lot of their coverage of other promotions, whether it be Extreme Championship Wrestling, haven't had a chance to see any of the edited pieces from the upcoming World Class DVD that's coming out in September. But I know that sometimes, just like how Fox has been tending to do with the Chris Benoit family tragedy, they skew it a little bit. Did you really see any sort of skewing on behalf of the Four Horsemen by the WWE? And then, JJ, I'm going to ask you the exact same question.
And as a follow-up, could this have benefited from Ole's participation?
Well, the thing that I was disappointed with the video, and I talked to the people that actually came and interviewed me, was two things. Number one, they never did come up with an explanation of where I went to. So if you're not privy on the net to know that the Lord changed my life, and that's the thing that really kept me out of wrestling, you don't know that. They put the fact that I failed a drug test on there, which I've talked about that all over the country. That's no big deal. But to leave out the next step, that when Christ changed my heart, changed my life, and changed the direction of my life, and that I've been sober for 17 and a half years and going strong, they missed that. And then two, as the comment I made earlier, the Four Horsemen thing, as WCW tried to gain respect and I gain respect with wrestling fans to put people back in the seats. They tried to put together any group of guys that they could put together, and then eventually it became Ric Flair and the Four Horsemen, which it never was in the beginning. It was four guys mutually put together. Now, Flair, being the world's heavyweight champion, gave us tremendous credibility in the wrestling fans' eyes. And but if they would have said, yeah, this is what WCW tried to do, kept trying to put these group of guys together to sell tickets, and they were unsuccessful, they never brought that out. They just made it all the same, all the Four Horsemen, and it wasn't. It wasn't the same. It never had the charisma. It never had the catalyst that it did when we were together.
JJ, your thoughts on the finished product?
Yeah,
of the DVD?
I have to agree too. I looked at it maybe with a little bit more forgiving eyes because I was pleasantly surprised, and in that my expectations were not as great. And when I saw that they basically didn't reinvent history, that did please me. And as Tully said, you could go back through and pick things that maybe you would like to have seen a part of it, but as a general statement, I thought it was well done, and it was fairly accurate. But and if you looked at it and really digested what you were seeing, I mean, how do you take something that was so successful for such a period of time, and even in 5 or 6 hours, be able to tell the whole story in depth? You mentioned Ole. I would like to see Ole, add his comments, but you saw Ole in some of the old footage with some of the interviews, and you really got an appreciation for what a great interviewer he was and how intense he was in the ring. And if you didn't hear from him today, at least you saw the part that he played, and that's the other key too. When the horse, it was a spontaneous thing that came together of four guys who were already successful in the business. This was not something that the four of them coming together then made them successful. They were already successful. Tully was already a star as an individual. Ole and Arn were stars as tag team. And of course, Flair was the world champion. A lot of focus of attention went on him. And I understand Flair and the Four Horsemen because he's still employed there with the people that were marketing the tape. So it was geared towards him. But as Tully said, Rick was a very important part of it, but certainly he wasn't the only one or the key to the success. I mean, if anything, as you look back, and I've heard this said before, Flair was, people liked to boo Flair. He was very popular. Ole and Arn, to a degree, were very popular. That Tully, if you look at it with a discerning eye, you will realize that Tully was the one true consistent heel through the successful run of the Horseman. He was the one that really carried the heat because, as he said, if somebody's still mad at him, obviously he had to do, what he was paid to do and do it very well. And I think just the chemistry of all those guys coming together at a time when it wasn't a situation where Flair was going to elevate the others, they were already on that platform.